Imagine this. You're juggling 3 tour follow-ups, a rent reminder, and a maintenance request all before lunch. Now, picture an assistant who doesn't eat, sleep, or take breaks and actually wants to do the boring stuff. That assistant, well, it's not another new hire. It's AI. But before you panic and imagine a robot leasing agent in a blazer, let's break it down. Today's episode is your no-fluff guide to how AI isn't here to replace you. It's here to finally give you a fighting chance at that elusive inbox zero. If you've ever wondered, where do I start with AI, or is my job safe? This one's for you. Buckle up, leasing legends. The future just clocked in.
Hello, welcome to the Rooms with Ronald podcast, brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. In 2023, I set an intention to shop 100 apartment communities to see how leasing was evolving around the country. Rooms with Ronald was born out of that experience. In this series, I share my experiences and engage in meaningful conversations with other professionals in the industry as we discuss all things related to leasing and marketing. Join in as we expand the Rooms with Ronald experiment. Welcome back to another exciting edition of Rooms with Ronald. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington, and today we're talking all things AI. Now, when I was thinking about who I wanted to join us today, there was one person that came to mind. The person I want to be when I grow up, the fabulous, the always entertaining Justin Jones, who is the multifamily AI guy and founder of Multifamily QSpace. Justin, thanks for joining me today.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad to be the one person you wanted to have here. I can think of a few amazing people who talk about artificial intelligence, but there's only one person that I want to talk about it with, and that's the amazing, fabulous Ronald Harrington.
I will be sure to Venmo you the money later for that comment.
You're welcome.
So let's just dive right into it, right? Where do you see AI headed, specifically for our on-site leasing teams?
Right. It's a great question. So I'm really excited to actually get to talk to y'all right now, the leasing teams, because I spend a lot of time talking to regionals and directors and owners and people making these big high-level decisions on what technology they're bringing in. But meanwhile, us who work in leasing, the people who are engaging with our residents, the people who are having to balance technology with being human on a personal and professional level, this is a great question. Because never, I don't think in my lifetime, other than maybe the internet and the smartphone, have we really been met with this profound question of what's going to change because of technology? Truly, you are sitting here listening to this in a moment of great change. And so if you're feeling uneasy about it, uncertain, deeply afraid, deeply excited, you're correct. Mindset is everything, Ronald. So I'm going to answer these questions with a mindset of positivity, right? And my personal mindset is that technology is here to make our lives better. It might cause a little bit of friction here and there, but the net of anyone listening is that my hope is that AI is headed to a place that makes you better at the work you want to do, when you want to do it, and in the way you want to approach it. So that's my preamble to a lot of these answers. And so hopefully anyone listening is like, cool, I can get with that. If not, they're like, stop listening. Ronald, to answer that question, there's a shift right now. AI, as people might understand it, started off, let's say, with automation, which is great, machine learning, great. And then we got large language models. It's like these things that create funny pictures of Ronald and Justin, in Palm Springs dancing, to Christina Aguilera, because that didn't really happen. But AI can generate that image, right? That's fun and games, cool. AI is about to take this next step that everyone needs to know about into something called agentic AI, right? So automation followed if then that. So it followed rules, right? A linear process. And then the LLMs was prompt based. I asked it to create that image of you and I at Pride in Palm Springs. Now, we are in an advent of AI doing things proactively. AI is not just going to wait for that prompt. It's going to initiate an action on your behalf, leasing friends. So On the personal, you're going to have your own personal agent someday. Like if you go into ChatGPT, they just launched an agent who does proactive work. But if we think about the professional, how we're engaging with our residents, if you think about AI as a new teammate working alongside to you, handling those follow-ups or reshuffling appointments, right? That's stuff you don't want to do, or even helping you like lead score or tell you about that lead, that prospect, right? It's fueling you to be better at your work instantly and in the proactive sense without being asked to do it. And that's where I'm really excited to think about where AI is headed next for my friends who work in leasing. And I actually have a study, came out of JLL in 2025. It's their prop tech survey, came out in May. Little quote for y'all. It's a long quote. Here we go. According to their study, 61% of multifamily organizations plan to invest more in generative AI tools for real-time application management and client communication by the end of 2025, with proactive AI copilots expected to handle up to 50% of all initial leasing interaction and document processing before a human steps in. SAR, what they're saying in the Australian SAR, what they're saying there is 61% of generative AI to work with these application management, right? But when it comes to proactive co-pilots, those people working alongside you, they want to see 50% of that work, preferably the busy work, being taken care of by a proactive AI agent. And then that's where you stand right now, leasing friend. Do you know what these technologies can do for you alongside you? Do you know what the expectations are? And how can you advance the technology in your workspace that will make you better at your work? And how can you raise a red flag at the stuff that you're thinking, no, that's not helpful. Thank you so much. Bye.
That's a lot, right? And to someone listening, you hear like these numbers, and Justin, there's a lot of fear in the leasing world. Like, well, if AI is doing all these things, and why are they going to keep me? Where's my job? Where's my job security that we had, 3 and 4, 5 years ago even. So what advice do you have for the team members on using AI as an enhancement to their job versus a replacement?
It's a great question. So yeah, we're concerned about job displacement. Everyone should be concerned about job displacement in theory, right? If you're a words or numbers job, like me, I'm a words and numbers guy. I'm not digging, building, constructing, fixing with my hands. I'm not out there leasing. I'm a words and numbers job. Could be a scary moment for people who are in words and numbers. You in leasing, oh boy, you are on the front line of being more human, more valued every day, because it goes beyond words and numbers. You are in the face-to-face work. And then my maintenance techs who might happen to be listening to Rooms with Ronald, I think you're in the best position ever to take your skilled work, you as a skilled laborer, and basically own the day. My thought about artificial intelligence in the workspace in general, at large. Let's start with automation. It should handle the repetitive work so you can focus on the relational. No matter what job you're in, let's let AI automate the noise, as Lindsay Duffy says from Asset Living. Okay. When it comes to the co-pilot work, what we're calling agentic, let it make you better at what you do. Don't let it do everything for you. Because right now where AI sits, though it is intelligent, it's not reached our intelligence, right? And here's a caveat, sweet Ronald. You can whataboutism AI all you want, and you can let it extrapolate into what about this, and what about this, and suddenly you're at the end of the world, and it's Terminator, and everything's blowing up a lot. Right? We can get there, right? We can get to Skynet. You can get to the Matrix, no matter, it's not hard. What I'm asking people to listen to is kind of keep it simple, kiss it. Name a problem that you wish was automated right now, and find out if there's a tool out there that can do it, that integrates with the tools you already have in your tech stack, right? And then learn how to tell that story of value and why it's necessary to unlock something valuable in you. The concept of freeing up time is key, but I want to go one step further. Okay. So at Highly, we actually, though we say we give you your time back, I kind of called, BS on that when I first got to the company, because I said, well, we're not really giving them their time back because an 80-hour work week is not a real thing. And they have 80 hours plus of work on their plates. So let's call a spade a spade. It's not that they're actually doing it. they're overwhelmed. They can't get to those follow-ups. They can't get to those first touches within, 30 minutes of being reached out to. They're not getting to it. It's not that they're doing the work poorly. It's that their jobs are so busy and they're juggling so much, they can't even do the darn thing. So it's not hours given back. It's actually digital workforce being added to the team to do the work on their behalf so they can focus on the things that they're really experts at. And that's the promise I want to make to y'all for AI, and the opportunity for you to tell I need an AI story by going to your bosses or talking to your teams. How are we utilizing AI as digital workforce? Not just offsetting hours for me, but giving me a power that allows me to focus on the things that will truly increase NOI, put heads in beds, get me my raise, get us our bonuses, make this a better community. And did I talk about job displacement at all? No, not really. Because, again, maintenance staff, you're set, baby. Leasing professionals, focus on what's going to make you more human, and then allow that to push forward the AI that does that. And if you see your job getting displaced, raise a flag, raise a hand, upskill yourself, find a way to become the expert, to become irreplaceable. And let me tell you, in multifamily, that's not hard to do because we're really not that far along where we're going to start to see intense displacement. Honestly, I think that centralization is more about job displacement than AI.
Yeah. So, I'm overwhelmed by just listening to everything you said. No, I'm just kidding.
Shoot, I should make my question. Should I tighten my answers? Sorry, I'm on camera right now, y'all. If you're listening, maybe I should we'll do these next two. What's your hot take? And I won't do a monologue for you.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm sure, because all this information is great, right? And I'm sure that there's on-site teams who feel probably overwhelmed. So what are some practical ways that our on-site teams can start using AI today without that overwhelming feeling?
Without the overwhelming feeling, I mean, well, on-site teams, if you ever feel not overwhelmed one day, will you give me a call and then tell me what universe you've gone to? Because I'm happy to join you there. In fact, if I ever met one on-site person who wasn't overwhelmed on any given day, I'd be like, oh my gosh, what's your secret? The irony is the secret might be artificial intelligence and automation and agentic technology. But let's keep it simple. So, Ronald, I want to separate two things for us here if we can, right? There's the institutional, as I call it, the stuff that it's your boss's boss approving to sign the check, and your company signs the check either for you or your ownership to be able to implement tech and tech stack, right? This is, bringing in the Intradas, bringing in the leasing agents, the VLAs and stuff like that, right? And then there's the institutional. This is your access that you have right now on your mobile phone to some of those powerful large language models in the world. That includes Claude by Anthropic, or ChatGPT by OpenAI, or Gemini by Google. Let's separate them. Ronald, what would you like to talk about first?
I think the easiest is the institutional. What do I have available to me right now? Here we go.
Okay, yeah. So look at your vendors then. So we're talking about the institutional. Now, I've always been on the vendor side, and my running joke is that great on-site is where great tech goes to die. It's because if even the most amazing solution gets brought to you, my friends on site, and it doesn't solve something for you right then, or the WIFM, the what's in it for me is not strong, or it takes even an ounce of new learning when you've already had to learn another system and you're onboarding another person who's brand new learn that system, that's when you pull out your cigarette and you just go, no, thank you. Thanks so much. Bye. And you're not going to deal with it. So my suggestion, look at your existing tech stack, or look at the vendors who are coming to try to sell you stuff, and align the problems that you have right now that you think this should be automated. For instance, tour follow-ups could be automated from the marketing angle, or a VLA, virtual leasing assistant. What else could be automated? Nurturing throughout that buying cycle, that renting cycle, that can be automated. Rent reminders can be automated. Through an agentic system, maintenance requests can actually be not just automated, but triaged. It's really cool. Focus on the problem that you think, we unlocked this, if we actually had digital workforce focus in on this, I could do more blank. And that's what I want you to think about too when you're starting to get overwhelmed, because it can be overwhelming. Just like your jobs have so many problems, find that little problem, rate it 1 to 5 stars, 5 being the most painful, 1 being I can handle this, and then prioritize how you want to solve those problems with technology, and then get that to the people who make the decisions on your institutional software. And then I want to double tap on this. Make sure you understand how it should be used. Whether it's automatic, understand what's happening automatically. If there's a light lift product that's like maybe, curated email blasts or event management or refer a friend, find out how to use that. Make sure you understand it. Make sure you understand the expectations of your role to use these tools, what's in it for you, and then use the heck out of them. Or if it doesn't solve anything for you, tell someone this is a waste of time, you know? And look at you. You might unlock something. You might unlock an amazing solution, or you might actually be able to sunset some tech that just isn't doing what the expectations were set up for to do.
I love that. I mean, I think like that's the important part, right? Especially with the decision makers, they get sold from the salespeople and that it's going to do X, Y, Z. We roll it out, and then we never ensure that we are using it the way we should be, that it actually fixed the problem we thought it was going to fix, and things like
Mhm.
that. Okay,
Exactly.
let's go to the other
Individual,
one.
the individual
Individual.
side.
Mhm.
Okay, this is the one where it's like, again, the existential threat of, Ronald, do you say thank you to do you say thank you to your large language model or like Alexa or anything?
I say please and thank you to everything, just in case the robots do take over the world. I want them to know I'm a friend and I'm nice.
Right. So you're building a culture of how you treat these machines, right? These AIs, because you see that it's about to be a distinct part of your life for the foreseeable future, for the rest of our existence on this earth. There will never be a moment when we are not engaged with AI. And, I can go back to when I do these trainings, like in person, when I pull up a slide, I'm like, has anyone used Google Maps or Waze? And they raise their hand. It's like, that's artificial intelligence. Has anyone been on Netflix? That's artificial intelligence. Like, me. Okay. Do yourself a favor and find where AI is in your life, find out how you're using it. And if you don't understand how it works, Google it, right? Or find a moment when you're utilizing like a large language model, find out how to use it a bit better. You don't have to be an expert user, but experimentation is great when it comes to learning how these machines work. Now, I can't even say that people that are engineering them are doing more than just experimentation. They're trying to figure out, well, the study of AI was to figure out how brains work, right? So they're continuing to learn how these human-like brains work. So at the same time, experiment too. Find out if you could write this marketing copy with AI, what does it look like? But don't forget to keep yourself in the loop. There's a term called humans in the loop. But where's the
Mhm.
Ronald in the loop or the Justin in the loop? Now, I use artificial intelligence to write a lot of my work, a lot of my talks. I train myself on it. I use it to send emails, but those emails sound a lot like me because I've worked diligently to craft what I need to sound like when I'm working with my AI. And then I almost go line by line on certain things. I've written articles where I just go line by line to make sure that it sounds like how I would want to write it. And I can't say, Ronald, I'm a very good writer, but the AI has unlocked the written voice I think I can have that sounds natural to me. Now, you represent individual brands like your community brand, like let's say like, the center at Highland, right? You represent the center at Highland. The center at Highland is, let's say, a Bozzuto property. There's layers of brand, and then there's your personal brand, Ronald. Let's say you, the leasing agent. It does behoove you to learn how to represent yourself, the community brand, and your property management company's brand with integrity, with accuracy, and with honesty, and with all the other cool empathy words that are distinctly human. The AI is going to generate copy that thinks it serves you. You, as the curator of that copy, get to decide, does it feel like Bozzuto? Does it feel like the center? Does it feel like Ronald? And that will make you an exponentially more interesting marketer, salesperson, active servicer to the community that you're at.
So, I've seen a lot of uh, fails with AI when I go shop properties and things like that. And I shouldn't say like with AI. I think there's some training gaps, right, between the human and the AI. So, how do you think we can work together to close those?
Yeah, right. The training gap. Gosh, we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
The joke about, on-site is where great technology goes to die. That's really kind of a fuzzy way of just saying, we didn't train people how to use it. So what's in it for them? Did a real estate human capital report in May of 2025 that said bridging the skills gap means role playing real leasing situations with AI, not just video tutorials. Same study. Only 22% of leasing professionals received hands-on scenario-based AI training in the past 12 months, while 64% used automations daily. So as a leasing team, when you're working with your vendors, you need to ask the question, what is automated, what does not need training, and what does? Do a quick dog and pony show of the stuff that doesn't need training so your leasing teams know it's on, so you, the leaser, know that automation's happening in the background. But if there are tools you need to learn how to use, you got to understand what's in it for me and what problem does it solve. And it goes back to even what I said at the top of this hour. The why is often more valuable to train on than you click this button and it does this, and then it does this, right? Let's say we're doing events. If I went and trained a leasing team how to put up an event post or do event email marketing, it's so dull.
Mm-hmm.
But if I start with the why, what does it solve for? You have a retention problem at this very expensive, gorgeous high rise where the expectations for service and hospitality are high, with an audience that, according to recent studies, of renters who crave community connection. Events will help solve this for you. Here's an event idea I have for you. Like Lisa Trozine just brought up a ton of great events. I'm going to give you one, and I'm not going to go into deep detail, so I'm going to keep it for Lisa. A pet prom. A prom for your pets. Yes, I know. Wasn't my idea. Or a sound bath. Then I teach you how to use the tools to host the most amazing, curated, brand-centric sound bath. Utilizing AI and utilizing that tool, right? That puts the why in front. And then the person utilizing the tool is excited to go in there, why in hand, impact in hand, and learn how to click the button to do the thing to click send, right? It's just that mind shift that will bring more clarity on what AI is solving and how it fits into you, the leasing team's day, and should unlock and address the gaps that you see, because you, my friends, who work on site, you see the gaps more than we ever see. You're there on the day-to-day.
Yeah. I also think too, like AI it unlocks a lot of potentials, but do you think it can help us identify blind spots or missing opportunities in our process?
Well, AI can see things that we can't see. Like, so let's jump into this. That's actually a data question you're asking here. And here's where all this human talk is very valuable, and like how to use an LLM is valuable in automation. But what AI is really good at is learning from data, right? AI and a large language model is based on weights, right? It's based on numbers of what would come next, right? Through probability in theory. I'm not going to deep dive too much, but really it's It's all data, kiddos. Okay. Here's where AI is better than humans. It's going to unlock, like you just said, Ronald, gaps. It's going to look at a process through a report and show you that somewhere in the leasing journey, there's drop off, right? Between the initial touch point and the lease. Or let's say between the tour and the lease, the AI can analyze your prospect data and all the touch points happening through a journey stitch and say, you've got major drop off here. And it can do it instantly. And it can slice it and dice it across communities, across portfolios, across MSAs or different cities. Why on earth would a human want to have to do that when an AI can do that in 2 seconds, right? Okay.
Right.
But then there's that thing in hand, right? Okay, so we have drop off here between the tour and the lease. And let's say there's a couple solutions or options there to solve that gap and that problem. Well, that's when the humans part comes in. Then you, as a data-informed leader, no matter where you are on the totem pole, can help bring your expertise and your experience as expertise to triage that problem. Now, there are instances where AI can triage it in real time, which is really cool. We can talk about that later. There are instances where AI could give you a suggestion, but it's how you utilize the data that AI is unearthing to become better at your job that will really make you win. And then how to tell that story to owners, to executives with a data-driven decision-making process, or data-informed, who will make you that executive no matter where you sit on the totem pole. And that's what I really want to also, maybe the second touch point promise for AI. This is a big, stupid word. This is going to sound tech bro-y of me. Bro, it's the democratization of data. What I mean by that, it's helping me, and I suck at data, Ronald. Oh my God, me and data, numbers scare the hell out of me. but it's unlocking my ability to look at data, to understand data, to process it in a way, to put up the color coded thing on an image on it to allow me to say, oh my gosh, this is hard, concrete data. Now I can go to my boss and advocate for that thing I've wanted to do because here's the data. That's the promise I'm making to all of you listening right now, that there's data out there that can help you do better at your work through gap analysis, through solving problems, and letting the AI be better at the data analysis so you can be better at curing things from a hyper-personalized, hyper-multifamily way, the Ronald Harrington way.
I'm glad you brought up the data. So let's kind of talk about what should the leasing teams understand about data privacy and the AI, because there's a lot of talk of data and the information that people are plugging into these types of systems.
Okay, I'm gonna bifurcate it again, right? Bifurcate. God, what happened to me, Ronald? What happened to that innocent little actor who didn't know these big old business words? Let's split these entwine. Okay, the individual versus the institutional. Individual friends. Pretty freaking simple. Don't put proprietary information into a large language model. Oh, should I say it again? Don't put proprietary information into a large language model. And for us, that's PII and don't mess with fair housing just by utilizing a large language model. Just because, let's say it's ChatGPT, regurgitates this copy for you. And even if you prompted it, is this fair housing compliant? Remember that AI can fib. It's called hallucinate. They fib. AI, large language models really just want to serve, Ronald. They want to serve you, the user. They're going to give you the most truthful looking truth at ever truth. But it takes you as the fair housing professional to say, no, that's not correct. Like, we don't really say that. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest thing on the individual. Don't put PII into large language models. Funny, the guy telling you this, Ronald, I'm going to out myself on this. No, I was doing my taxes and I didn't understand something, and I was using like a service even, but I was like, I need help now. I put my social security number into ChatGPT. I did, dude. I did. So even the multifamily AI guy makes mistakes. I made a mistake, so you don't do it. Beyond that, just curate curate before you put it into an email, into correspondence. Remember, it's just data, right? Stories are data with a soul. So in the email you're sending, even though it might just seem like a renewal email, that's still how you're processing and sharing data and expectations. Make sure it fits fair housing. Make sure it fits your personal brand, your community brand, and your company brand. That's still data, right? The manifestation of data.
Yeah.
For your vendors, data compliance security has to be part of the playbook and should be on that first page of the deck when they're pitching to you. If they're ISO, what their compliance is. And you who are shopping for vendors, before you get to the feel good, it's saving you time. It's, slicing and dicing. Get that data question front and center. There's the Urban Institute of Data Privacy and Housing. This is a year ago, I actually did a study. There's a really interesting thing they said. Responsible use of AI demands ongoing audits of algorithms and clear protocols on resident data handling. More simply put, where are the humans in the loop? How are your vendors triaging data issues? And how are you on your side looking at where the data is going, what is being put into it? Because the great thing about AI is going to unlock personalization and relevance. There are solutions that can be built on deep data internally. So there's shallow data and deep data. The concept of deep data is the more data we build into like a big pool of data, a fabric of data coming from all our integrated sources, you have this clean, concise, actionable data set that you could run your entire business on. So instead of going to a vendor and asking them to build a tour scheduler, one of your cool, hip, Gen Zs, Gen Xs, Gen whatever, the new gen, the cool kids, could build a tour schedule through vibe coding in a day, right? But it can't do that without an amazing pool of data that is clean, concise, that is compliant. Boop. Simple, right?
So simple, right? Easier said than done is what I say. Let's have some fun with AI. I mean, you're the AI, the multifamily AI guy, right? So what is the most surprising or jaw-dropping use of AI you've seen in leasing or multifamily so far?
I'm really obsessed with agentic technology and outcome-based work, seeing that ChatGPT was showing how someone could go book a tour on Zillow, right? Get close to that transaction on behalf of an individual, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was just brilliant. So, the concept is you and I, Ronald, we'll have our own personal AI agents, right? Maybe one agent that manages a few different agentic intelligences that knows us so well, it can do our bidding without even being asked. Or let's say, ChatGPT, I'm just going to call it ChatGPT. Oh, no, I'm calling it agent. Agent, I have a Saturday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. I need to visit 5 apartment communities with a dog policy that matches, my dog, with the rents here, with a 2-bedroom that's close access to the highways, and maybe has a fitness center. And that agentic technology will go through the internet and book the tours instantly for me and bring back that data on my behalf. That was one jaw-dropping moment. When I got trained to give this talk last year for PAA with a bunch of my maintenance tech friends, I got to show them how agentic technology can get that work order, that maintenance request, and not in a linear form, but in a mesh form. Make a mesh. So like, y'all, I'm like doing my hands thing. Mesh. Like, consider all decisions happening at once, right? In a mesh. So not a straight line, but a quilt of decisions, a fabric of decisions. We'll be able to triage the machine, see what time it last broke, reorder that part, schedule the maintenance technician while being compliant to fair housing, schedule the time with the resident while even maybe teaching them how to fix the thing before bringing in the maintenance tech, figuring out what tools the maintenance tech needs and make sure it's on site and ready for them while balancing the work that they have on that day. Maybe it's their day off because there's a party going on, right? All at once on the maintenance tech's behalf, on the operator's behalf. That's jaw-dropping to me because it's empowering humans to be better at their human work. It's keeping us compliant, and it's removing friction from their work. So that's both on the individual, me as the renter, and then us as the operators. Agentic, baby.
I love that. I'm like over here like, okay, that's how I'm going to book the rest of my tours the rest of the year is in ChatGPT until it here's the criteria. I think happening.
And we're getting there bit by bit. I know agents just dropped on the ChatGPT this week. If y'all don't follow Daniel Polino, I highly suggest you do that. He's out there testing the tours. Jonathan Buckle, you always tests the stuff. Ed and Chai tests a lot of work, and this guy named Gunner, he has like 2 last names. Gunner from from Flats. Go follow Gunner, and then follow the AI Exchange. Like we test this stuff in real time. Me and Christy Fickert.
Yeah.
Test. Right.
So, Justin, if you
Yeah.
had to give AI a job title in multifamily, what job title would you give it?
Fun fact, the name of my ChatGPT is Trish. Oh my gosh, what job title would I get it? It's enabling me. It's an assistant in some way, but it's not human. And that's one word I want to give y'all as you're testing this stuff. It should feel human-like, but it ain't human. I'm a human. I mean, that's the rumor. I guess you can't see out there in TV land if I'm an actual human or I'm just an AI robot. Because I sound like one. Because I use words like bifurcate. I would say an enabler, an enablement tour, a champion, a me champion. Assistant seems reactionary, while as an enabler seems proactive. So I'm going to say enablement, something, maintenance enablement, leasing enablement, management enabler, resident enabler, like what, and then figure out what they need to enable me to do that I don't have time to do anyway. Because again, it's not just let's give you your time back, blah, blah, blah. It's let's get the thing done that we just don't have time to do.
I think you actually hit it earlier on than you thought. I thought when you put it together like this, I think it should be called the Enablement Champion, right? And I think that is across all fields, right? Everything that interacts with.
Yeah. Well, and it's great that you say that too, because the data conversation is another conversation we'll have. We'll have a few clicks up from my leasing teams, but remember, data is still your responsibility. But the issue with multifamily data, you might have felt this frustration if you ever had to run a report, is that our data is siloed. And every little point solution, every little stack we put on our tech stack has its own dashboard, its own set of rules, even within environments that should be cohesive. They're inconsistent. But let's say the enablement champion will be able to take all these datas and bring them into it, what can be considered a single source of truth, or if not, can go as an agentic intelligence, go get all the data, pool it together, clean it and cleanse it, and package it and present it to you, and enabling to be your data champion at any given time. And like I said before, it's all data. It's what we do with it that makes us human and better at our jobs.
Yeah. So Justin, this has been a great conversation. If people want to reach out to you, if they want to, learn more, pick your brain, where do they find you?
The best place to find me is on LinkedIn. I love talking to everyone on LinkedIn. You can find me there. I also host a monthly roundtable that my on-site friends are totally invited to, called the AI Exchange with Christy Fickert. And it's a roundtable. It's just really just a place for us to come share ideas and experiment and look at things together. There's no selling in here, really. We bring in a couple experts to help narrate the conversation, but by and large, join us on the AI Exchange. And if you don't have time, send your boss's boss, and give them questions to ask us, and we'll answer it. But I would say the LinkedIn's the best place to find me. If you're, I'm not really on the other socials or the ticket of the talk. Definitely LinkedIn.
Wow.
And
Justin,
at an event near you.
coming soon. Justin, thank you so much for joining Rooms with Ronald today. I learned a lot. I have a whole bunch of notes over here. So thank you for your time. And to everyone else out there, you've been listening to Rooms with Ronald. Today we had Justin Jones, the multifamily AI guy and the founder of the Multifamily Q Space. Until next time, guys, happy leasing. Bye. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope I left you with some fresh ideas or a new perspective. Leasing and marketing are evolving rapidly, and Rooms with Ronald is committed to offering a place to hear about those changes. We also celebrate and acknowledge the fundamentals of exceptional service that will never go out of style. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, or subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our other exceptional industry podcasts, thought pieces, and sponsorship opportunities.